The Competition Commission has released the findings of its grocery retail sector market inquiry, which started in 2015. It's found national supermarket chains enjoy long-term exclusive lease agreements and are able to exert its buying power. Another major finding is that spaza shops struggle to adapt to the changing competitive environment. For more insights into the report, we're joined by Competition Commission Commissioner Thembinkosi Bonakele. Good evening, sir, and thanks very much for your time. Now, I've read just some of the sort of key findings, and out of that arises two things in my mind. Can you really blame the big supermarket chains for having the muscle or the advantage of being big, which they exercise in how they negotiate their long-term leases?
Well, I wouldn't say blame, but there's certainly market power they possess. One of the findings of the study is that the big four supermarket chain control more than 72% of the market. And that enables them to insist, for an example, on exclusive lease agreements. What exclusive lease agreements do is to prevent anyone who is independent to come into shopping malls. And we know from this report that South Africans now buy more than 50% of what they use to buy groceries is used in shopping malls. So if you are preventing independents from entering shopping malls, you are excluding those independents from participating in that market. And that certainly is a form of abuse.
And that's where you come in, because it's about ensuring that competition, you don't face competition from
That's right. Guy. Yes, I mean, I think the dynamic that has happened in South Africa over the past few years is that shopping malls have really become a battleground for anyone who wants to retail groceries and the like. So if you are excluded from there, you are excluded from 50% of the market. And it doesn't end there. The shopping malls have also encroached into townships, which are areas that traditionally have been serviced by spaza shops and the informal market. So you can see that market dominance is being extended beyond the suburbs and CBDs into the townships and peri-urban areas.
Needless to say, spaza shops and the small traders in the townships aren't happy with the arrangement. I mean, it's a complaint. I mean, they've been talking about this for many, many, many years. But then, isn't there another reality on the other side of this argument, which is that the consumer may be the one benefiting from lower prices and a variety of offerings?
Well, that's why we are saying that there's certainly room for large retailers. We can see benefits potentially for consumers, because even that is not clear, by the way, if they are dominant. So they are able to squeeze suppliers, they are able to get lower rental rates. But it's not readily apparent that all of those benefits are passed on to consumers. So, but you can give them that benefit of a doubt. But there is a role for spaza shops. There is a role for independence. We think that consumers also want variety. That's value. They want creativity. That's value for consumers. And you will never know if you are able to get this variety and innovation from others if you simply block them from the market. If they are so efficient and they pass on consumers, lower prices to consumers, we saying that then there is no need for creating these artificial barriers. Then you don't need 30-year exclusive agreements to be the only one who operates in a shopping mall. If you are so efficient and you are so good that consumers love you so much, they will come to you anyway. Why do you need the agreement?
But have you not been able to independently check whether, in fact, they do or don't pass the benefits that they have to the consumer in the end?
It's a very complex evaluation that we've done it. We accept that the four retailers in South Africa fiercely compete with each other. We also know that they squeeze suppliers. We have a lot of complaints, for example, from a variety of smaller suppliers. So we know that they are able, for certain products, to lower prices. So there are products that are used to attract people into supermarkets. Your basic daily needs, bread, milk, often those you'll find there will be a special or there will be lower prices. But the trick is the overall stock, because what they do, what they lose in those basic products, they recover in others, because the consumer tend not to buy one thing. Even if they went to the shop to buy one product, which is the one that attracted them to the shop, they may buy an expensive chocolate, which is a high margin product, and they may buy a yogurt, which was not something that was in their plans when they decided to go to the shop. So it's not clear that these lower prices, in fact, are passed on to consumers overall.
And what are you proposing as remedial action?
Well, the first thing that we say must happen is that the exclusive agreements must come into an end. There is no reason why, if you are operating a supermarket in a shopping mall, you must prescribe that there must be no butchery next to you and there must be no fruit and veg supplier next to you. In fact, we have evidence that when these are next to incumbents, existing supermarkets, prices tend to go down even in the supermarkets. So we're saying those contracts must come into an end. We're saying also government must support spaza shops, because part of the problem of spaza shops doesn't just come from established retailers. Foreign nationals also seem to be able to better compete with people in the townships in running spaza shops for a variety of reasons I won't get into now. So we're saying, though, that there are interventions that are required. So there are efficiencies, for an example, in people buying in larger groups, in people being serviced by a logistics support. So people keep, for example, their stock in a central place and it can be transported quickly to where it's needed. All of those efficiencies can be derived with very limited support from the state. And we're not saying it must even do it itself. It may encourage entrepreneurs and incentivize them to establish a distribution center in a place like Soweto, for an example. Makes perfect sense. And that will lower the cost of spaza shops and enable them to compete better.
What is the status of those remedial actions now? Are they binding immediately, or are you recommending first and then you're going to hear from the affected parties what they think of them?
That's right, yes. It's a provisional report. They have a month to comment on it before we do the final report.
Okay. I'll be keen to know what your view is with regards to the spaza shops that are foreign owned and what it is that those people do, which South Africans don't do. I'm sure it'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting subject for many of our viewers. The Commissioner of the Competition Commission, Thembinkosi Bonakele.